Before we dive in, hit subscribe. Not just because it helps the channel grow, but because you and I are about to take a deep dive into truth, logic, psychology, and the things nobody else wants to say out loud. 45 facts about girls raised by single mothers with explanations. They mature faster emotionally. Growing up watching one parent handle everything forces them to understand adult problems earlier. 2, they often become highly independent. They learn to rely on themselves because they've seen their mom do the same. 3, they may feel pressure to be strong all the time. Single moms often hide their struggles, and daughters copy this behavior. They develop strong empathy skills. They witness emotional highs and lows firsthand, making them more sensitive to how others feel. 5, they often take on mini-adult roles. Things like caring for siblings or helping around the house can give them a parentified child experience. 6, they can develop people-pleasing habits. They don't want to add stress to their mom, so they suppress their own needs. 7, they may struggle with trust in relationships. If the father was absent, inconsistent, or harmful, it affects how they view men. 8, they might overvalue self-sufficiency. They feel they must never depend on anyone because they saw how independence was necessary. They often develop deep admiration for strong women. Their mother becomes their blueprint for survival. 10, they are likely to be more protective of their loved ones. Seeing one parent fight for the whole household creates loyalty and protectiveness. 11, they may fear becoming a burden. They learn to hide their struggles because they don't want to add more pressure. 12, they often understand financial responsibility early. They witness the reality of budgeting, sacrificing, and stretching money. 13, they may grow up with identity confusion about men. Not having a consistent father figure can make masculinity feel foreign or unpredictable. 14, they often develop high resilience. Daily exposure to challenge builds emotional toughness. 15, they may have a complicated relationship with vulnerability. They saw their mom survive by staying guarded. 16, they are more likely to take leadership roles because they're used to stepping up. 18, they may have a strong desire for stability. They crave the emotional or financial stability they didn't always have. 19, they often become protective of their mother. Sometimes the daughter feels like the mother's emotional support. 20, they may struggle with abandonment issues. If the father disappeared or was unreliable, they feel deeply afraid of people leaving. 21, they're usually very observant. Growing up in a high-alert household sharpens their awareness. 22, they can become overachievers. They want to make their mom proud or repay her sacrifices. 23, they may crave male validation but fear male authority. A psychological contradiction that comes from absence plus curiosity. 24, they often develop immense gratitude. They know how hard their mother worked to make everything happen. 25, they may fear repeating their mother's struggles. This affects their dating life and life planning. 26, they understand sacrifice deeply. They watched it daily. 28, they may over-assume responsibility in relationships. They're used to doing everything alone. 29, they might choose emotionally safe partners. Stability feels more important than excitement. 30, they can struggle to ask for help. Their upbringing conditions them to handle everything alone. 31, they often develop a strong work ethic. Watching their mom grind every day influences their habits. 32, they may feel guilty for wanting a different future. They don't want their mother to feel inadequate. 33, they can have a complicated view of womanhood. They saw strength but also stress, so femininity becomes tied to responsibility. 35, they become experts at adapting. Chaotic or inconsistent environments build flexibility. 36, they sometimes fear conflict. Arguments at home may have been stressful or overwhelming. 37, They may develop attachment styles like anxious or avoidant. Their father's role or absence plays a huge part. 38. They can be extremely loyal partners. They know the value of someone staying. 39. They may be cautious with money. They grew up seeing how easily things can fall apart. 40. They often build deep friendships. Friendships become the extended family they didn't always have. 41. They can become excellent problem solvers. They grew up fixing things emotionally or practically. 42. They may struggle with softness. Strength becomes their default state. 43. They often choose careers that offer stability or purpose because survival was a theme in their life. 44. They may hide their pain well. They were conditioned to prioritize others. 45. They often develop a powerful inner drive. They want to build a life that breaks the cycle and honors their mother's labor. Deep elaboration. Why girls raised by single mothers develop these traits, the causes, the reality, and the way things should be. Girls raised by single mothers often grow into strong, independent, emotionally complex women. But their strength usually comes from survival, not from a comfortable upbringing. Their emotional patterns, relationship behaviors, attachment styles, and worldview develop from witnessing one woman carry the entire household alone. Understanding why this happens requires looking at family structure, the mother's emotional state, the father's absence, society's expectations, and modern relationship dynamics. Let's break everything down logically and honestly, without blaming anyone unnecessarily. Why these traits develop, the root causes. The daughter becomes emotionally older than her age because in many single mother homes the child is exposed to adult conversations, financial stress, emotional tension, responsibility, and the reality of survival. This forces early maturity, not because she wants to, but because the environment requires it. Cause: the mother carries everything alone. There's no father to balance responsibilities. The daughter learns independence by observing the mother. Children copy what they see daily. A girl who sees her mother working full-time, managing the house, budgeting, comforting herself emotionally, sacrificing constantly, naturally absorbs that independence. Cause: survival mode becomes normal. The daughter thinks weakness is dangerous. The daughter becomes sensitive to stress. Even if the mother tries to hide stress, children notice everything. A daughter raised by a single mom often becomes vigilant, responsible, alert, emotionally aware, easily stressed by chaos. Cause: seeing one parent overwhelmed becomes a daily pattern. Attachment issues form because of the father's absence. Psychology is clear. A missing parent leaves a psychological marker. Not every father is bad. Many were pushed out, left out, or legally limited. But the absence still shapes the daughter's emotional blueprint. Causes may include abandonment, inconsistent fathering, divorce, conflict, or both parents being immature at the time. How things should be versus how they actually are. 1. How things should be. A healthy family structure looks like this. 2 parents sharing responsibilities, balanced emotional energy, not one person breaking down alone. Financial stability, parental teamwork. With 2 functioning parents, the child develops a secure attachment, better emotional regulation, less pressure, and a balanced view of relationships. How things actually happen. Modern life often looks like this. Mothers raising children alone. Fathers removed from the home due to breakup, divorce, distance, or court systems. Financial pressure entirely on one parent. Emotional burnout. Children carrying responsibilities meant for adults. Constant survival mode. Men are trash. Mentality growing online. Society blaming men or blaming women depending on the narrative. Why many single mothers end up in these situations. Here's where we bring logic and fairness. Many people assume all single moms are victims or all fathers are villains. That's not true. The reality is complex. Immature relationships create unstable foundations. Many modern relationships start with no long-term planning, no shared values, attraction instead of compatibility, trauma bonds, lack of emotional maturity, poor communication skills. People have children before knowing who the partner really is, cause emotional impulsiveness. Women sometimes choose based on emotion, not logic. Modern dating encourages excitement over stability. Follow the heart, ignoring red flags, choosing emotionally unavailable men, and thinking love alone is enough. Later, men get blamed for behavior that was visible during dating. Some men are pushed away, not allowed to father. This is a truth that rarely gets spoken. Some single fathers want to participate but are alienated, blocked, restricted legally, replaced by the mother's new partner, or treated as an ATM instead of a dad. Not all fathers disappear voluntarily. The government system often incentivizes single motherhood. In many countries, benefits, subsidies, housing, child support make it easier to raise a child alone than to stay in a partnership that's unstable. This is not about blaming women. It's acknowledging the system. Social media fuels unrealistic expectations. Women are told, "I don't need a man. I can do it alone." Men are the problem. But when the child is born, reality hits. Loneliness, exhaustion, financial pressure, emotional load, burnout. Then the cycle repeats. How modern single mothers see men. Not all, but many modern single moms develop these views. Point 1. Distrust of men because of past trauma or disappointment. Point 2. Defensive independence. I don't need anyone. This comes from fear, not confidence. 4.3. Viewing men as unreliable. Even though many men are good fathers, the stereotype sticks. 4.4. Expecting men to fix problems they didn't create, burdening new partners with old wounds. 4.5. Using the daughter as emotional support. Not intentionally, but emotionally drained, mothers often lean on their daughters for comfort. Not all men abandon their kids. Some are forced out. Some are too young and emotionally unprepared. Some were never taught how to be fathers. Some were dealing with mental health or financial instability. Some were pushed away by bitterness, conflict, or legal systems. Men are often punished for not being perfect fathers, while women are praised for being imperfect mothers. Society gives more empathy to single mothers than single fathers. A dad raising kids alone rarely receives the same support or admiration. Many men want to lead, support, and raise their children, if the relationship environment allows it. Men are human too. They break under stress, trauma, disrespect, and emotional chaos. This is not to excuse fathers who disappear, but to recognize that the story is rarely one-sided. The final truth. Girls raised by single mothers become strong because they are forged in pressure, but not all pressure is healthy. The responsibility placed on them is often too heavy, too early. What they truly need is emotional stability, balanced parenting, a healthy masculine presence, a healthy feminine presence, parents who work together, a home without war, and a childhood free from adult burdens. That's how things should be, but reality is often far from ideal. I've got free printable planners, ebooks, audiobooks, and even a fun and games section waiting for you. If you love self-improvement, deep psychology, real-life facts, or you just want tools that help you upgrade your day-to-day life, my website is where all the good stuff lives. So after this video, or even right now if you're fast, click that link, explore, download what you need, and level up your life with the resources I've built for you.